Deep in the forgotten corners of Europe, hidden within dense fog-covered woods and whispered through generations of frightened locals, lies the story of a faceless figure. A phantom who walked the same trail every day, unseen by most, feared by all. Who was this silent wanderer of the forest? And why did they vanish without a trace, just as the world began to notice them? Welcome back to Cass Mystery, where we explore the chilling unknown. Today we delve into the legend of the Watcher of Grenier Woods, a mystery that haunted a quiet French village for over a decade, and then disappeared as suddenly as it began. Grenier-sur-Mer, a small rural village nestled near the foothills of southern France, is the kind of place most people pass by without ever knowing it exists. With just over 400 residents, old stone cottages, and a single winding road that leads through miles of dense woodland, it's easy to see why the outside world rarely hears what happens there. But for over 10 years, up until the summer of 2014, the people of Grenier whispered about someone, or something, in the woods. Locals called it Le Veilleur, the Watcher. Others, especially the older villagers, had a more poetic name, L'Esprit de Jeanne Noire, the spirit of Black Jeanne. According to some, it was the ghost of a woman who had lived alone in the forest during World War II, rumored to have lost her family and wandered the woods in grief, refusing to rejoin society. But this wasn't a ghost story in the traditional sense. Dozens of eyewitnesses described seeing a very real person, tall, at least 6 feet 3 inches, clad in a long dark trench coat or cape, heavy rubber boots, and most chillingly, a vintage industrial gas mask. The figure never ran, never spoke. It simply walked the same path, at the same time each day, just after sunrise or in the dim haze of dusk, always along the dirt path known locally as Le Sentier des Cendres, the Path of Ashes. Children who wandered too far into the forest would run home pale-faced, swearing they'd seen him. Parents at first laughed it off, but when grown hunters, hikers, and farmers began sharing similar accounts of a silent, masked figure staring at them through the mist, concern began to spread. In July 2014, everything changed. A regional newspaper called Le Quotidien du Sud published a grainy photograph taken by an amateur hiker named Benoit Ravel. In the image, just beyond a veil of trees, a tall figure stood still, facing the camera, with what looked like a military-grade gas mask and a cloak fluttering in the breeze. Ravel's account was chilling. I was with my girlfriend and her son. We were out looking for wild mushrooms. Around a bend, maybe 20 meters ahead, we saw him. He didn't move. He had something like an old satchel and what looked like an antique pipe in one hand. He turned his head, slowly, and I felt watched. Not threatened, but completely exposed. I took the photo as we backed away. We didn't run, but we didn't talk for the rest of the hike. The photo went viral online. Paranormal blogs picked it up. Reddit threads exploded. YouTubers speculated wildly. Some claimed he was a war veteran suffering from PTSD. Others thought he might be a hermit, scarred by radiation or skin disease. A few, of course, said he wasn't human at all. In Grenier, the reaction was more immediate. Suddenly, the once muted whispers turned to outrage. Parents demanded more patrols in the woods. One local woman told reporters she refused to let her teenage daughter walk home through the fields alone. Another said her young son had nightmares for weeks after glimpsing the Watcher near the edge of their farmland. Despite it all, Le Veilleur had never harmed anyone. He had never spoken, never touched anyone. But still, He terrified people. And with the sudden media attention, that fear escalated. Authorities insisted he had broken no laws. He hadn't trespassed, threatened, or committed any crimes. But they still wanted to find him, to ask him to, quote, be more considerate. But the Watcher didn't wait for them. In late September of that year, the sightings stopped, just like that. No more eerie morning walks, no more stories of strange encounters on the path of ashes. Le Veilleur was gone. Then, in early October, a local ranger found something odd deep in the forest, folded neatly beside an old moss-covered log, a dark cloak, a rusted satchel, and the unmistakable gas mask. Inside the satchel was a handwritten note. It read, "The hunt for the monster has become too real. I was never the beast, but now I feel like one. I disappear, so your peace may return." The note was unsigned. There were no fingerprints. No body was ever found. Some villagers believed the Watcher had taken his own life out of despair. Others believed he simply moved on, perhaps deeper into the mountains, or even across the border. A few still think he was never a man at all, but something ancient. Something watching us, mimicking us, waiting. Years have passed, but the story still lives on. Tourists sometimes visit Grenier in hopes of retracing the Watcher's path. Some say they hear footsteps in the underbrush when walking alone. Others claim to feel eyes on their backs, though no one's there. And though Le Veilleur hasn't been seen in over a decade, villagers still avoid the woods near dusk. Not out of fear exactly, but out of something deeper, something primal. A quiet understanding that some things are not meant to be found. So who, or what, was the Watcher of Grenier Woods? A lonely soul trying to live unseen? A man scarred by the world, or hiding from it? Or perhaps something older and stranger, merely wearing a mask? Let me know what you think in the comments. And if you've ever encountered something unexplained, whether in the woods, on the road, or in your own backyard, I want to hear your story. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to join the mystery. Until next time, stay curious, stay cautious, and I'll see you on the flip side. See you.